Democracy is humanity's most complex social creation. It's the most effective tool for making decisions across large, diverse communities. It gives us control over decision makers, making them accountable to us. But now, democracy must evolve to meet the challenges of globalization and the tech revolution. This means 6 new rules of democracy. The first new rule is for us to elect people to represent us, not just locally and nationally, but internationally too. Democracy should be a system that reflects the world we live in, with decisions about street cleaning and libraries made by local politicians, about the economy, security and railways made by national politicians, and decisions about the environment, global finance, trade and the internet made by international politicians, all directly elected by us in a global parliament and accountable to us in representing our views on all the decisions that impact on our lives. The second new rule is for us to know far more about how our taxes are raised and how they're spent. Companies should be forced to report the taxes they pay, and politicians to report what they spend, whether locally, nationally or internationally. Personal, transparent tax information will help us influence and scrutinize how our money is spent. The third new rule is for politicians to be accountable for their words and for the impact of their decisions. It's too easy for them to lie or cheat or promise the earth. Instead, just as independent bodies ensure elections are fair, we can regulate what politicians say, taking them to court or forcing them to stand for election again if they lie or cheat, and holding them to account for their promises and their actions in government too. This would ensure a fairer contest for votes and help politicians make better decisions once elected. The fourth new rule is for all public services to be accountable for improving and learning, as well as for spending public money. Public services must learn from each other to do better, to make more use of data and information, to invest in engaging and motivating their own staff, and to meet guaranteed minimum standards too. This will close the expectation gap between what we want and what we get from our public services. The fifth new rule applies to us. Each of us should not only obey the law and pay our taxes, we should all vote and contribute to our communities too. Democracy is not delivered like pizza. We must participate in it, or it will be dominated by hotheads and extremists. We share our communities. We should also share accountability for ensuring our communities are successful, whether that's in our neighbourhood, our nation, or the planet. The sixth new rule is that democracy needs independent, accountable referees. In sport, rules need to be enforced so the game is played fairly with no cheating. Democracy is no different in this, and in some ways more important because the stakes are so high. Regulators of democracy include the courts, the National Audit Office, the Electoral Commission, the Boundary Commission, and other institutions. They make sure that politicians, our elected representatives, play by the rules and make decisions fairly on behalf of us all. Democracy is too important for us not to make it better.